believe we're live now. I think it's not showing
Absolutely.
anything on screen, which is odd.
Let me hit it with a reload.
I think I'm sort of getting something now. Maybe. These things never start the way they're supposed to. It says I've been live for 15 seconds, but it's just a black screen and the... oh, wait, no, I guess we are live. Oh, fuck it.
Hey.
I think we're good. Yeah, all right. I'll turn one of these speakers off so you won't echo as much.
All right, sounds solid.
All right.
All right, I'll mute myself. Let's do it.
All right. What's up, Beast? How you doing, man?
Oh, another day in paradise, brother. We're here. We're here.
Absolutely. In honor of this stream, this is the first time I've had a drink before noon in a long time, but I'm doing a Bailey's and coffee just to make it interesting, but also keep me awake at the same time.
I've got a highball, Suntory the World whiskey with Seagram's ginger ale. I actually picked up the Suntory World on my return flight back home. 4,000 yen, give me. Injected into my veins.
That is awesome. How was your trip?
Oh, it was good. Minus of the hilarious racism that I encountered for the first time ever.
Really? I got that a lot all over the world back in the early 2000s. People do not like Americans.
No. So long story short, it was a recommended steak spot that was right next to the hotel that I was staying at in Osaka. Mm-hmm. And I walked in, I played the dumb gaijin, the dumb foreigner card.
Yeah.
And there was like a bunch of salarymen that was just sitting there and they were looking at me as if I like stepped on their cat or something. Mm-hmm. And I asked for one person, to eat there because it's yakiniku style. They give you the grill. And they said just a moment, then 15 minutes passed while I was waiting outside. And then I popped in and I just started telling them in Japanese, like, hey, what's taking so long? You only have one group here. And there was a sign behind the guy that said Japanese only. And I'm like, you could have showed me that when I walked in the first time. I laughed it off. I just put the money I had intended on spending back in my wallet. And my wallet is loaded with 10,000 yen notes. So,
yeah,
their loss.
I don't know. I've had both. I had a couple of friends back before, like, I mean, people are probably going to get offended by me saying this, but back before it was still okay to be just openly gay in certain places, one of my friends called and asked if we could go out for dinner there at this one place. It was kind of a little bit in the ghetto. And the lady was like, yeah, it's absolutely fine. And my friend was like, listen, I don't mean to be rude, but I want to be really clear about this. Are you okay with having a bunch of giant, loud queens hanging out at your restaurant with a couple of white people? And she burst out laughing. She was like, absolutely. He was like, okay. I just wanted to double check. She was like, no, I totally understand why, but no, come on in. So I've had a lot of the opposite over the years too. So that was a fun one. We walked in and they were like, oh, we know which group this is.
But yeah, that's the comedy of other countries. You regularly can't expect it, but you know what? When it does happen, I laugh it off. I have a jacked up sense of humor, so it's no big deal.
All right, let's see what we got. So what I'm going to attempt to do today, which I was going to try to do this part before you got here because I didn't want to waste your time, but then I thought, you know what? Beast would actually love to see this shit. So what I'm attempting to do right here is first run through Gamepadla and lag test just a basic controller, and we'll get the lag test readings and we'll save those off. Then I want to walk through installing FGC OS, and then we're going to reload the lag testing software to see what difference it made. So that should be... Hey, Reasonably British, what's up? Koala, how's it going? Freaky League, Flavio, a bunch of cool people in the chat.
What's happening, you fabulous savages?
All right, so let's just...
Yeah, so the one thing I want to preface in regards to the use of FGC OS, especially since I don't know if you're planning on doing a full install, But even with the semi install, like skipping the Windows installation, if you will,
Yeah.
the tools that are included also work on stock Windows 10 and 11. So I just
Okay.
want to preface that. Yeah, I want to preface that first, especially with the USB overclocking utility that's included in there.
The hell? I just got to double check which is ground and which is power on this. Maybe, all right, ground there. I would have assumed I would have put it on green. Like green ground.
Yeah.
Well, whatever. All right. So let's get Gamepadla installed. Nope.
But yeah, hilarious enough. The what do you call it? Ooh, okay. Hilarious enough. The what do you call it? When you see the handful of tweaks, or rather, I don't even necessarily call them tweaks. I call them adjustments, because when you implement the adjustments, it's one of those wow. This is simple switch toggling gives you so many benefits. Especially with the controllers too, man.
Come on.
Especially since I've been using my personal fight stick builds in, I believe it's PS3 mode on PC. And the minute you overclock them, it's a night and day difference.
Keep. What a pain in the ass. Keep. Yes, I know what I'm doing.
We know what we're doing. And yeah, the USB overclocking definitely did help during during the span of Street Fighter V's lifespan. Oh my god, that was so terrible.
Go back to here. All right, we should just be able to solder this up super quick. There shouldn't be anything complicated. And since I did the Gamepadla stream last time, I know the settings that we need to mess with. So this should be like a 3-minute ordeal here. Shouldn't be. I always keep all of my soldering equipment off at the power surge point at all times unless I'm using it, just because there were a few people that had some concerns about some of the power supplies in like the Kesker soldering iron, but it's one of those things where like if you're sitting right next to it and it starts to smoke, you unplug it, right? So who cares?
Immediately.
It's less than half the price of the other stuff, so I'd rather have a really awesome soldering iron that I just have to make sure to not leave plugged in 24/7.
True.
All right, hopefully I don't mess up this controller, but it's one of those cheap SNES based style ones.
Fingers crossed.
And if I got this wrong, I could always swap the wires in a second. Okay, so all you're doing is soldering 2 wires to an Arduino, flashing the Arduino, which we already did, and then soldering them to both pads on a controller. Now, some controllers are built different, but most, it doesn't really matter what button. So you could use, let me zoom in. So I just used the shoulder because the pads were easily exposed, and it just took a second. And this reads as an Xbox 360 controller. So when I plug it in, all of the buttons are processed the same through the chip. So it's not like the shoulder buttons could potentially have more latency than any of the other buttons on there.
Right.
Well, let me grab some tissues too. Goddamn allergies. Never had allergies my whole life. Started a couple years ago.
Isn't that the worst?
Dude, I used to make fun of my cousin Nick because he had them really bad. And I thought allergies were like just a cold. And then I think it was 2019. A week goes by and I start to get nervous. And then I realized, I don't know what hit me, but I was like, I called him. I was like, hey, would you describe allergies as like a mildly annoying mushroom trip and a hangover and and the sniffles, and he's like, that's exactly what I've had for my entire life. And I'm like, I owe you an apology. So then every spring I end up texting him like, I got him again, I'm sorry for doubting you. Whoa, stay up there. All right, let me switch back to the other view. What's going on, Belmont?
Hey,
All right, so we have this up. We should. Oh, and the button is pressed, so I believe that means we are reversed. So let me just let me unplug it. Let me unplug them both actually, and just swap those cables real quick. I'm not going to switch the camera back because it really is going to be this quick. 2, 1, 2. All right, that should be all. It still shows pressed. That's weird, but all right, let's just. There's no shorts, so let's just run the software and see what happens, I guess. Enter the COM port. So that's got to be it. Yep. The test has started. What do we got? Well, that's not good. I guess we should try switching back then. All right, I'll try switching back. Shit.
You always got to show the human parts.
Yeah, I never mind making mistakes in these streams because I've gotten so many messages over the years of like, that same thing was happening to me. I never knew how to fix it. You know, thanks so much for, not having an ego about this. So, yeah, I try to keep it real.
Absolutely.
Anybody that pretends they don't make mistakes can't be trusted.
That's a fact.
And unless they're joking around like, Lord Voltar is perfect in every way. That's funny to me. You don't have to think it's funny,
I
but I
might be wanting a
certainly
bagel with my coffee.
All right, so we're still locked on. Let's see what happens now. Oh, I might have to run as administrator. I forgot about that. Let me just try this again and see if we get anything. Oh, no, that was it. It was just reversed. That's all it was.
Hey,
Sweet.
we got W's out here. Very good.
Ah, Pup to the Park Day. Yeah, it's not that nice over here. It's not crappy, though. It's at least sunny. Let me grab a USB stick as well. I rewired my computer the other day. I put it on a rack where I have a CRT monitor on it now too. You'd find the setup pretty neat. But I put in a high-speed USB stick, and it wasn't it was going pretty slow. And I'm like, oh man, I'll check that later. I hope the USB stick isn't dead. I just bought that thing, and it was really fast. And then yesterday I go to do something else, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? And I realized I had it plugged into a USB 3 port, not the 3.2 port. I'm like, well, that's what I get for being an idiot sometimes. So, no, learned that lesson.
Yeah, the displacement of USB ports can be tricky sometimes.
Especially when I'm colorblind and I'm crawling in the back of a thing trying to figure out which is the other port and which isn't. So it's. Although this was red, so I don't think I could blame my colorblind on this. I think I just could blame laziness. Okay, so here's what we got. Average, minimal, average, and maximum. So this is definitely more than I've read with Mr., which is perfect. Absolutely perfect. So we're going to go in. I could turn off my soldering iron now, actually. Get this out the way. Let me save that. And since I'm a nerd, we got to do it twice. It's It is what it is. So, no, we're not going to save the results to the website because I don't know if this is going to be an accurate enough test. So we'll run it again, save the results to the USB stick, and then we will start loading FGC OS. So that's great. We barely wasted any time on this at the beginning. It just worked. That's really what I was hoping for, being able to demo this, because it really is going to be really relevant to everything. So sweet.
Oh, for sure.
Have you seen that new arcade stick? I think it's called the Octopus arcade stick.
The one that this guy's working on, TR Fight Stick.
Yes, with the Dreamcast thing integrated in.
I've seen it. I've seen it. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been talking to them. That seems really interesting. I was asking to get one to borrow one to lag test, and they were like, "Yeah, we'll
Right.
get it together." And then they delayed it because they're like, "Well, we're gonna actually work with Brook now, so we're gonna use all of their boards." And I haven't tested many of them, but all the ones I've tested have been very low latency. So
Okay. Well, if they're using a Brook board specifically, the latency should be relatively solid. I've been using their retro board forever. Well, since they've launched it, and even with the sandwich with the UFB Fusion, the results have been very solid on console. And hilarious enough, you can overclock that too. So as long as you have it, hooked up correctly.
that is very funny. So I just realized that I started doing this assuming that you would know what I was talking about, but also forgetting that not everybody in the chat has seen this before. So Gamepadla is Windows-based software. It could also potentially run on Mac and Linux. We're working on that. Runs through one of these Arduino boards. I think it's, or maybe it's a Raspberry Pi. I forgot what it was, but it's one of these little boards. Super cheap. I did an interview with the creators. I did a live stream demoing it. And all you do is solder 2 wires to a pad on a controller. Let me zoom in here for you. And then the other 2 wires go to the corresponding pins on this device. And then it uses Windows to press a button and measure how long it takes from when that button is pressed to when the readings are seen on the laptop or on whatever the computer is. So, and because it's doing this automatically, much like the Mr. Lag tester, it can do it thousands of times per minute. However, you're limited to Windows, which, as we all know, can be absolutely laggy. So now that this is all set, now that we've run these tests, I'm going to unplug the controller and the lag testing device, and we're going to install FGC OS to see how it lowers the latency. So, sorry, I should have explained that to begin with, but you know what? I think it's just about enough in time for it. So, my bad, everybody. Hey, what's up, Shane?
Sure.
So if anybody wants to know, I'll update all the links in this very soon, but just search the website for Gamepadla, and you'll, or even the YouTube channel, and you'll see the interview, and you'll also see the live stream I did. All right, so I have the USB stick here. I'm going to move the test results over. So where do I start with this?
So, all right. So what you want to do is, if you already have a media tool for FGC OS.
I have the RAR file that you sent me.
All right. So basically, you're going to need a USB device to, or, excuse my French. You want to use the Windows Media Creation tool for your image file for Windows 10.
I think 11's on this. Is that okay?
So if we're gonna go, you know what? Now would be a really solid time, so we can go through 11. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna skip the, what do you call it? We're gonna skip the Windows 10 installation.
Okay.
And we can start from where it says run piece and equalizer.
All right, hold on. Let me, and by the way, if you're looking in Discord, you should be able to see right as if my webcam was the computer. All right, suddenly lost my mouse. Hold on a second. I apologize. What the hell? Off. My battery's dead? This thing's... Come on, mouse. What in the hell? So the USB stick that I'm using, will that need to be formatted?
No. Well, the USB. Oh, I thought you meant the fight stick, but your flash drive. That's if you're gonna do the Windows 10 installation for RetroRGB.
I think I would really like to try the 11 installation, and then if we don't get good results, try 10. And depending on how quick it is, maybe both. I got a couple hours, but I think that would also be good results, as if inherently 10 is just faster than 11. I just, somehow my mouse died here.
So the thing is, I haven't personally done it with RetroRGB plus Windows 11, but the install should essentially be the exact same thing. But we can still run through stock Windows 11 and get some adjustments too.
Yeah, sorry,
we can get some solid results too. So.
Well, my computer mouse somehow just died, so let me. We could just keep going, and when I get to the point where we have to wait for something to install, I could. Yep. I could swap this thing out.
Okay.
That's fucking crazy. Something like that hasn't happened in a long time. All right, so I'll put the USB stick back in, and if I don't need to format this now, we could just keep going as is. So what was step number 1?
So from step number 1, right? That would be basically installing the Windows Media Creation tool to your PC in order to make a Windows 10 image file.
Okay.
And then it's basically just using Ventoy to basically hold the image file for RetroRGB.
But if we're staying at 11, then how do we...
If we're staying at 11?
Yeah.
All right, so if we're staying at 11, just if you crack open the text file that's in there, the install guide.
Yeah.
So you can start from where it says run piece and equalizer APO.
Okay.
Yeah, so just start from run piece and equalizer APO first. And then
quick question. This LatencyMon exe, is that supposedly going to measure the latency of the computer?
Yep.
So let me run this now and see what we if we have pre-readings.
Sure.
Shane was asking for the FG or Gamepadla. Could you just use clips? Yes, absolutely. I was lazy and it was working perfect. So I just soldered it on out of pure laziness and nothing else.
All right, so just hit the green play button.
All right.
And that's all real time. And LatencyMon is basically meant for the audio latency that you're getting.
Oh, okay. Let's let that run for just 1 minute then, and we'll see what the results are. And I will also grab another mouse so I can start doing other stuff at the same time.
Destiny FOMO, it's good to see you, Littlefoot.
What's up, Destiny? How you doing?
So yeah, this is going to be a solid rundown of what the purpose of FGCOS is. We're basically elbow dropping our computers into going into full-blown performance mode. And I've been using this for the past year and a half, give or take some, on both of my AMD and my Intel rigs. My AMD rig consists of a 5900X with a 3070 Ti Founders Edition. My Intel rig is I think it's a 12900K or 13900K, give or take some, with a 4080 OC. Both of them have the same amount of RAM in it. The benefits for both are A1. Especially depending on the keyboard and mouse you're using, as well as your fight stick. And I use a gamepad specifically for like platformers and such. So I use a DualSense with the Brook Wingman XB2. And the Wingman XB2 basically, well, the DualSense can already operates at 1,000 hertz when it's connected in, and then that in conjunction with the XB2, inputs my inputs never drop, wireless or wired. And this is coming from someone that I'm very sensitive to input lag, especially display to button press. So, yeah.
Yeah, you were spot on. When you came over to do the testing of that Neo Geo thing, you were absolutely spot on. You were like, it's about 2 frames, but it's pretty consistent. It's not moving around, so it only took me a minute to adjust. And when I eventually measured it, I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah. 2 frames. That's why I was like, oh, it's about 2 to 3 frames, nothing crazy. And then as soon as I adjusted, I was landing Touch of Death combos in World Heroes and Fatal Fury Special. Those are my babies. I love those.
Copy screenshot. Let's see if that worked. Yeah, sweet. No, it didn't. Hold on. All right.
Let's see. But yeah, I know I've had several people inquire when FGC OS was in its, its infancy stages and everybody wanted in. Then I got brought in and I'm like, yay, I'm ready to do damage.
All right, so I'm just saving this off LatencyMon pre.
Yep. Eyeball in a Gundam cup. You can't kill. You can't deny this. Mm-hmm.
So utilize. So this says go to this Google Docs to start updating.
Yeah. So this guide right here is going to give you the best settings for. Just scroll all the way down until you see the. What is it? There's a setting that shows the GPU. So actually, I can go from here from where I'm at. You want to go to manage 3D settings.
Is it in? You mean in this paper or just in my on my computer?
It's there. Well, the settings are there. You just got to keep scrolling down until you see the or if you do Control F and then type in GPU, and it should bring you closer to the bottom, to the middle / bottom, and you'll see that there's right there. Yep. Just scroll up a little bit. Right there. Right there. Yes. That box right there. You want those settings on your manage 3D settings. So basically just copy pasta. Yeah, perfect. And those are basically like the primary tweaks to get in-game performance gains primarily. And then when we get to the oh yeah, and don't forget to install the Peace and Equalizer APO. That's going to be for audio though, so I'm not too sure if we're testing for audio specifically.
No, not this time.
Okay, so we're just going controls then. All right. So if we're just going to be doing controls, just finish that up and then go to. It's basically a matter of installing the HD USB IF certificate, LatencyMon, MSI, the Reddit scripts, and the refine, and then run it again. Because oddly enough, like Windows 11 has quite a bit of bloat on it.
Yeah.
Which in some cases, when you're in the middle of a match. That's the difference between a fireball and no input coming out at all. And it's, last bit of health. Aerial Ace is in the chat. What's going on? Good afternoon.
Okay. I think we're good there. So just hit apply.
Yeah, just hit apply. And then on the, hang on, I'll tell you exactly which tab it's called. The adjust settings with preview. Use my preference, emphasizing performance. Yeah, so the third one, and then throw the slider on performance.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yep. And I don't know if you want to do the color adjust that separate. That's 100% up to you.
Not at the moment.
Okay.
All right, so we did that.
Yep.
So then the next.
So we're gonna go to. So that's post install for the control panel.
Okay.
That's mainly for video game performance buffs.
Okay.
So we're gonna skip that because if the only focus is gonna be the control testing, we're gonna go straight to install HD USB IF. Let me, what do you call it? I'll join you because I have.
You mean right in the folder, right?
It should be a zip file, so you could extract that.
Yep. What was that? What was the next thing I was doing again?
We're gonna
USB IF. Oh, there we go. There we go. Okay.
Now you're gonna right-click the suite and low, and then put install certificate.
I forgot I don't have 7-zip on this machine. Right-click and hit install certificate, right?
Yep. The whole machine. Yep.
Yep.
Install.
Automatically select?
Okay. Yes. Go next, go finish.
All right, successful.
Now, is that controller still plugged in?
No.
Okay. This is an if you want to situation. You can go ahead and plug that in and see if you can overclock it from the HD USB IF menu. So basically that's going to driver and then going to setup in the HD folder. And then it's just a matter of locating it through the USB device's rate setup.
So this is in the device manager?
No, it's not actually.
Oh, okay. How would I, what are we doing then?
So the folder that has all of the FGC OS tools. So you can close device manager.
Okay.
Now the HD USB folder.
Yeah.
There should be in driver, there should be an option called setup.
All right.
Yep. Good. Now you just got to go to USB and then locate the whatever's connected to gamepad.
Yep.
Now from there, this is where it gets a little funky, but this is an easy obstacle to go over. So let me join you there. So what I usually do is I'm going to connect if I were to connect my fight stick would pop up as, game controller, what have you. What you want to do is you're going to highlight it and you're going to go to where where it says filter on device, there's a selected rate. Mm-hmm. You click that tab. No, to the left where it says default. So from here, hit no. You don't. Okay. All right. So from there, right there, you can adjust the polling rate from there, and then you're going to hit install service.
Should filter on device be checked or left unchecked?
Yes.
Checked,
absolutely.
okay.
It should be checked.
Okay. It's just installed.
Good. All right. So now it's going to be polling at 1,000 hertz now. So as long as nothing on it has changed or nothing has gone gray.
So we should rerun this test just to see if the polling makes a difference.
Go for it.
Yeah, all right. Let me and in fact, let me just do this real quick. Let me dump this to the desktop so we don't need the USB stick plugged in.
Yep.
And we'll put Gamepadla back on there.
Yeah, so now the fact that it's going to be polling at 1,000 hertz, we should get a little bit of a performance increase.
Do I need to leave the USB rate device setup open?
No, it's going to stay active forever.
Jeez, that'd be really nice. Okay.
Yeah, it's going to stay active forever. For now, every time it's plugged in, now the performance is just going to be boom, elbow drop.
Oh, I forgot to plug the thing in. What a dick. All right, plugged in. There we go.
Just make sure. Yeah, as long as Gamepadless was plugged in and you did the performance thing, we should be able to. Oh, I see it.
It's about the same.
It was hanging more at 89 last time. So let's see. Unless the native polling rate for Gamepadla is already at 1,000 hertz, then that's one.
Yeah, or if the controller's already as fast as it can go.
Right.
But this is still important because that means the rest of the things that we're doing aren't going to, are it's going to measure those as well,
Yeah. Because once again, the main purpose of FGC OS as a whole was to reduce input latency on the Windows and the game side.
Right.
So
I truly think the controller side and the controller polling is going to make a big difference overall for gamers, but my gut is telling me the Windows optimizations is going to be overall where we see the most difference.
yeah, absolutely. I think more so within the audio department. Let's see.
Oh, well, hold on. Let's print screen and then let me close this. I'll plug the USB stick back in and we'll compare the results.
Yep.
So pre-test one, oh, come on. Pre-test one, we're looking at average of 7.54, minimum 534. Pre-test two, yeah, 7 and 5, basically the same thing. And now after this, it is, no, wrong one. 7 and 5. So it's a hair improved, but not really. So that's for this specific controller, it's not going to make that much of a difference. But obviously, that's the faster the controller, the more of a difference that one will make. So
yeah.
All right, so let's go back into this. So what was going to be the next step afterwards then?
So after the USB, you've already installed LatencyMon. So what you want to do is go to MSI.
Okay.
That's going to be the next install.
Oh, I got to run as administrator.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now for MSI, you could just check everything and then refresh. Because that's going to wait, hold on. It's been a while. Oh, no. You're going to check everything and then you're going to hit apply, which is on the upper right-hand corner.
Oh, I didn't even see it. That
was my bad too. I was like, damn, it's been a while since I've used this one. Apply, refresh.
Perfect. Yeah.
Boom, you're in. Now you can close that. That's going to run forever. Next one. Shout outs to Stream Overlay Pro, formerly Stream Overlay Pro for this one. Now known as Eric Rod Codes. You're going to run the BC Reddit scripts as administrator. It should be a bat file.
I don't see it in here.
Let me just check my folder then. Documents. 1 second. There's game utility, ISLC. Interesting. It's inside of Revi OS setup.
It's
Wait,
kind
hold
of what I
on.
figured. So I was
No,
looking for any other zip
actually,
file in there.
no. Actually, it's not in there. So
Oh,
yeah, it's actually not in there. Inside the folder, there should be a thing called Melody Tweaks.
got it.
That's the BC Reddit strip. So you want to run both of those.
One at a time, I'm assuming.
Yeah, yeah. They're relatively super fast. Boom and then boom. Yep.
Okay.
And then finally you're gonna run refine. Yeah, run as PowerShell. It's gonna tell you to restart after you're done. So, by the way, shout outs to Prolix OC for this one. He did a bang up job for refine. Refine is that shit.
Interesting. Not
Does it
found.
does it not found?
Yeah, let me try running it again.
Yeah, because you could just it says run it with PowerShell and that's it.
Sometimes they don't like long paths. So let me just run it right from the C drive.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's
There it
it.
is.
So let's get started. Run refine, I'm assuming, right?
Correct. And then just hit Y. Yeah, Prolix OC did an absolute bang up job with this. He was doing his own thing, but I had to adapt this into what my full package is for FGC OS, and this made all the difference. It made things so much easier to just get everything done.
Very cool. Let me check the chat while this is going. Sorry if I've been staring at the computer, everybody. Cool. All right. All right, press R to restart now. So, yeah, I'm just going to reboot, right?
Yeah. And we're going to do one more funny tweak in regards to sound on the laptop, which, may or may not make any good changes, but the refine and the refine plus the melody tweaks, A1. Solid A1
So have
adjusts.
you tested this on a existing setup and also tested it with doing something like factory restore, like the Windows-based factory restore, to see if that makes a difference as well?
I have not. Everything I've done with this is just raw install.
Okay.
Just format the drive and then just get to it. And making another partition for stock Windows 10 because the one thing I'm gonna advocate is to make sure that anyone that's genuinely interested in using FGC OS, and this is also from Art and when Stream Overlay Pro are on board, keep a separate partition for stock Windows 10 or Windows 11 because there are some security issues with Revi. But if you're planning on just doing gaming, like just gaming with Revi, you're fine. General computing, you just leave it on your stock Windows 10 or 11.
Yeah. So that's actually something Art and I kind of dug into pretty deep in the interview we did. In that, being an old school IT nerd, there are many ways to do exactly what you just said, and that's always suggested. And you could even use things like Clonezilla, which is free, so you could basically put your entire hard drive on a USB stick, and then no matter what, you could always go back to it the way it was before installing. And in fact, if you just buy a couple of USB sticks, you could go back to whichever version you want. But for me personally, this laptop, this is going to be just a test machine, and So I don't really care. In fact, we could do this. We could put 10 on it. We could erase it all. Hopefully next week I'm going to put Linux on it and rerun the same Gamepadla tests. So yeah, it's this is meant to do exactly this, because hopefully I'll be just using this for MD4EA and Linux stuff in the future.
Beautiful. And the fact that we're doing it on Windows 11, that actually, it's also good for knowledge pickup as well.
Yeah, because the one thing I noticed, right? So this laptop I bought 2017, I think, and um, I was just doing so many things at once. I bought the wrong one, and I didn't realize it till after the return period was up. Like, I forgot. I don't know what graphics card was in here, but let's just say I got a 1060 and I needed a 1070 or something like that. Like, it was a very easy mistake to make. So I kept it, and I eventually ended up giving it to my wife. And then after Windows 11 auto installed on it, the speed was half, and that's not even exaggerating.
Yes.
So I figured
you're right. You're 100% right.
yeah. So I want to see what this does on 11, and then and that was a fresh install of 11. So
Yeah.
if there's time and this all goes smoothly, we could even do the 10 install as well, just to see the differences, because I have a feeling that alone is going to be a pretty big difference.
Yeah, when Windows, what do you call it? Windows 11 has a lot of unnecessary bloat on it. Hopefully, after the PC boots back up, you should be able to run Gamepadla right after, and you may be able to get some performance gains as well.
All right. Okay, I'll plug those in right now just to have them up.
Oh, chat, if you guys are interested, I'm going to be dropping the link again on my Twitter page if y'all want to try out FGC OS yourselves. So just bear with me for a second.
Yeah, and after the stream, I'm gonna update all the links in this video. I didn't want to drop some random links in here just to, and I figured we would put what was completely relevant after the fact.
Yeah.
Can't tell you how many hours of my life I've sat in front of a computer from childhood till now, staring at your 90-something% there. Just back in the day, it was swapping out different floppy drives to install Windows 3.1 or DOS or whatever.
All right. Yeah, it's on my Twitter page if you guys want to download and check it out. So we are in like sin. We're just waiting for Bob's rig to come back to life. And yeah, the Calypto guide that's also in the notepad. Those tweaks are primarily meant for BIOS toggling. So you can look into that later, because that actually does help out a lot with with further lowering latency, with controls and such. All right, back to it.
Oh, it is connected. It's probably still booting and loading stuff, so I'll give it a moment. And that was Revios that we just installed?
No.
Yeah.
ReviOS, we didn't install the operating system at all. So the only thing we're doing it on raw Windows 11.
Okay. That's weird as hell. Oh shit! No, now it's not. Now it's not liking this controller at all. Unplugged.
I see. No. I see what's happening. Open up the USB, the HD USB tool.
Okay. With it plugged in or without plugged in?
With it plugged in.
Okay.
Go setup. Now we gotta locate it. It should pop up with nothing, with no anything on it. Okay. Is it the USB port just
I could
kicking
try
it
a
on its
different
own?
USB port.
Yeah. Wait. Plug it back in.
Right, there it is. USB input
There it
device.
is.
Now, see how it just popped up and then disappeared.
Okay.
So did we fuck it
And
up
we
going
already...
to the changing the polling rate?
Sometimes that could be a thing, but usually when it pops up and it's... Matter of fact, hang on. Let me full screen.
I mean, here's an
here.
easy way to test it. Let me just plug it into my other computer and see if
Yeah.
it shows up there. No, I think it did the same thing.
Oh. Interesting. This is the first.
Wait, no,
It's
hold
so
on.
light.
No, it's working on my main PC, so we didn't break the controller.
Okay, so it's probably with the... Matter of fact, on the tab where it says USB,
Yeah,
click it and see if, and choose the selection that says USB with HD USB. Oh, there it is.
and it
All right, so
disappeared.
click that.
Oh, there it is.
There it is. Perfect. Now we're getting a red, and there's no name on it. So what you want to do is lower it by lower it to 500. Install, restart, and then restart it. Anything? No. Okay, so we're gonna bring it back to default. Install service, restart.
And I think I gotta
Unplug
unplug and replug. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now go regular USB. You could uninstall it if it keeps giving you an issue.
Yeah. So it's not.
All right, so just uncheck filter on device and install service, restart.
There we go, and it's back.
There it is.
Okay.
Yep.
So that just means that that tool didn't do anything because this controller is not compatible with the faster speeds. So
Right. On stock Windows, before we did any of the tweaks and adjustments, it was like, fuck yeah, let's do it. But now it's operating appropriately at this point. Especially with the refine tweaks.
is there anything more to do on to install to lower latency on the machine for this stuff? Not for audio, just for everything else.
Well, the next thing is it's just the audio part. That's it after that. And then,
All
of
right.
course, the installation of Revi.
Does Revi lower latency?
Revi kills a lot of bloat.
And, yeah, so that's going to be worth it.
Yeah, for latency lowering, you would have to follow the Calypto guide for BIOS adjustments.
I have a feeling after this, if you have time, let's just put on Windows 10, and I have a feeling we're going to see drops there.
Oh yeah, for sure, 100%. And now this is post.
So a half a millisecond on the minimal, and then about the same on the average. So I don't know if I would call that a marked difference, but I'm not blaming FGC OS. I'm blaming Windows 11.
Yeah.
After what was that? After melody tweaks. No, that was wait a minute. What was that? It was after refine.
Yes, after refine.
All right, so let's go back in then, and I guess now's the time to run ReviOS, right?
So for ReviOS, we would have to do it on a raw, what do you call it?
A raw installation?
Yeah, it would be a raw installation, but I believe we could do it through here. Because the only thing is, in order to get RetroRGB to install to Windows 10, because the one that's included in there is for Windows 10. I don't have the Windows 11 one, but you can grab it through the RetroRGB website. Through RetroRGB, you have to do a clean Windows 10 install or Windows 11. Then you follow the guide.
All right, so let me back up those screenshots, and then let's download Windows 10 on this sucker then, and go from there. I should probably do it on my main PC because it's wired and probably going to be faster, right?
So you're gonna have to pull the Ethernet cable from the computer, and you also got to make sure you got your motherboard Ethernet and the chipset drivers.
Let me show you a very, very neat tool that I will share with you. Hold on a second. Yeah, all right. Here's some old school nerd shit right here. Software called Double Driver.
Hey.
Scan current system. So you have all the drivers on it. Select all. And back up now. And we're just gonna no, desktop. Sure. New folder.
That's actually awesome.
And I use the Windows Media Creation tool to get Windows 10, right?
Yes.
Windows 10.
And essentially, once we start installing Windows 10, you want to make sure there's no internet connection whatsoever.
Create Windows 10 installation media. Beautiful. So if that's going to the desktop, I'm going to use this USB stick to get the installation media done, and then
and whatever USB drive you're going to use for Windows, just use Ventoy to partition it to MBR, or however you want to partition the thumb drive to MBR, and you're good.
it's running a hell of a lot slower than I thought it would.
Yeah.
If it's still stuck at this slow by the time that the USB drive already has Windows 10 on it, I'll cancel it and just do the drivers we think we're going to need.
Yeah, it's just going to be your chipset and your Ethernet. Yeah, chipset and network.
Grab my second USB wherever that's ready. Okay. All right, we are, the tool is running and working on the other one. This is taking too long, so I'm gonna kill it and just get the only drivers that we need on it. So select, yeah, the basics here. Qualcomm, Realtek, I don't think we need any of those. That's just basic Intel stuff. Management
But yeah,
engine.
the network adapter and the chipset are the main two that you need. Everything else, definitely not necessary.
Where is it? Drivers. All right, that's way freaking better.
Hey, we got a $5 bomb in the chat.
Hey, Bubba, how's it going? Thank you so much for the super chat. So we're using that Windows-based lag testing software, Gamepadla, to lag test a USB controller using Windows 11, install some FGC OS components, and see if it improved the latency, which it kind of did. But now we're going to install Windows 10, see if that's faster than 11, and then after that, install the lag testing software, or I mean the FGC OS on top of that to see what gains we have. And this is specifically for controller latency testing. I think the other people involved in FGC OS has already taken care of everything else, like the audio lag testing, graphic driver enhancement, all of that stuff. So I'm really staying in my lane here, which is not like me. Usually I just go wherever the fuck I want, but I'm staying in my lane here and just kind of seeing like, all right, let's stick with what I'm good at and what I actually have some results to compare to on this.
Ba-dum-bum-bum-bum.
Yay, the most exciting part of all the streams, just staring and waiting in the progress bar.
Oh man, that's the fun part. Such enjoy.
All right, I already have the Windows 10 installation thing ready, so
Yep.
hopefully this thing will just speed up when it gets past some of the crap here.
I should have made the disclaimer. Hey, you may want to back up just these two things. And yeah, a lot of the people that were involved in testing, they bounced between Fightcade, Street Fighter 5 and 6, Tekken 7 and 8, Marvel. Even though there's a bunch of games that when you play them on ReviOS, or rather the FGC OS after you fully set it up, you have to manually set certain games to hard lock at 60, or else it's just going to match whatever the refresh rate on your monitor is. And it's going to go insanely like hyperspeed fast. So, and it's a pain to deal with. But after you set it to 60, or if someone has made a mod for the game to make it run at your desired refresh rate, but normally, then you go with that mod instead of just hard locking it to 60 frames per second.
So what in your testing so far, what have you noticed that that really stands out as like, yes, this was the biggest difference with FGC OS?
When playing first person shooters and music rhythm games, I had to, like, initially I had to change the timings on button presses for games like Muse Dash, DJ Max, Spin Rhythm. What's the other? There's a bunch of music rhythm games, Step Mania, and the arcade data for like Beat Mania 2DX. But after using FGC OS, and hard locking the game to 60, and then making adjustments on the controller that I'm using, as well as, you know, the keyboard and mouse for spin rhythm, as well as various first-person shooters, because it's better, in my opinion. I like to adjust on the hardware side, then do the in-game sliders later. The snapping difference, especially because in shooters, I don't snipe, but I'm able to snipe effortlessly on titles like Fortnite, Call of Duty, uh, what is it, Rainbow Six Siege, a bunch of others. So, and the timing windows on DJ Max and Muse Dash are very tight, and I was able to just play very comfortably without having to preemptively press a button. If that makes any sense.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
All right,
So
that all
like,
makes sense to me.
yeah. So essentially, it's just I no longer have to press anything preemptively. I can just hit the button and go.
One of the things that I found, I think, was the biggest difference, and I know I've told this story before, so I'm sorry if everybody's already heard it, but when Art first played me, I think it was a 480 hertz game. It was a game that could run at, you know, at any refresh rate. So we played it at 60 hertz, and it was, you know, Art was very fastidious about this, right? All the same settings, the same monitor, the same everything. The only thing that changed was the refresh rate. We played it at 60. Then we played it at, I might have been 480, it might have been 360. I can't remember which, but we played it at that. And I was like, well, yeah, this is a noticeable difference. Yeah, I mean, this is cool. I like this stuff. And he just smirks, and he's got this look on his face. And he goes, let's play it at 60 again. And we went back, and going from 60 up, it was a noticeable difference. But then going back down, I was like, what is this Stone Age shit that we're using right here? This is what we were playing?
Yep. Yeah. Even on certain PC setups that I played in, like what's the one place I can compare to? Maybe Brooklyn, or because they have high-end PCs, but a lot of them, I don't think they've done adjustments like what Art was doing before. And you know, it's hard. It's very. I gotta do everything preemptively, and I'm not crazy about that. Whereas, you know, with FGC OS, I could just do everything frame one.
All right, one-time boot menu.
Oh wow! Wait a minute. Hold on. Bubba D. Matt ask. You just realized this. Does anyone know if Connect games possible via emulation? Yo, that would be so sick. That would actually be really sick if that's a thing. Matter of fact, I'm looking it up now. Because I will hunt down the arcade. What you call it? I will hunt down the arcade data for Dance Evolution. I just gotta pray I have enough space to use it.
So I think drive 0 is my storage drive, and then drive 1 has got to be, yeah, one. All right, so delete. Good thing I know how to recover all this if I'm just screwing up the wrong one.
But yeah, if Connect emulation with like
yeah, that's got to be
like
it.
a Logitech Pro Cam would be awesome.
That's got to be it. Okay.
I'm gonna cut off for a quick second. I'll be right back.
Yep. Have fun, Belmont. Enjoy the day. Well, luckily this will go very, very, very quickly compared to everything else. We're already at almost 60% installation, so we're good to go. As always, anybody has any questions or anything I could help with while we wait, let me know. We'll work on this together. I am going to selfishly take this moment to pack a box.
All right, back to it.
Sweet. We are pretty speedily going on. I'm just getting a box packed up and ready to go so I could have this ready for Monday. Missing the post office cutoff today, but it is what it is. I've been getting so many packages returned for the dumbest shit. I got another box returned to me that was going overseas to a friend yesterday for batteries. There are no batteries in anything in this box. Nothing. Zero. Not even like old 2032s inside a cartridge or something like that. Nothing. Zero batteries.
So random.
I have no clue. And this happens all the time. All the time. It drives me crazy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Just make sure the internet is disabled when you're doing this, by the way.
Yep. No Ethernet
like-
plugged in, and I'm not going to connect it to Wi-Fi.
Perfect.
Thanks for the reminder, though. I forgot a couple times and had to kill the power and reboot.
I don't know. I think today is going to be a good day for some birria tacos.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, the food we have around here is just not.
Listen. Just come visit, and we'll go to get cuchi frito like last time.
Dude, I rolled up to a food truck the other day at a place like a half hour away from my house. I was running late, but I saw Puerto Rican food, and I was like, oh. And I walked up, and I was like, hey, can I have one of each of the acapulcos? And he's like, oh, I just opened. I don't have any of the stuff going. I'm like, oh. He's like, I have empanadas ready. I'm like, okay, I'll take those. And they were delicious, but those are not my favorites. I like them a lot.
I know the acapulcos. That's your blood type right there.
Yeah. The first time I had one was from that place in Queens, the Freakin' Rican. And I was just like, I like the Puerto Rican friends I grew up with, I was like mad at. Like, how come you didn't introduce me to this when we were kids growing up? What is wrong with you? This is the greatest. But they grew up with it too, so they were just like, I don't know, it's the thing my mom always made. It's like, it's special to you. It's just part of food for me. And I'm like, well, I love it. So there we go.
Yeah, freaking Rican is A1, but you gotta go. There's a spot. There's a spot in. It's uptown Manhattan. It's called Cocotazo.
Mm-hmm.
AKA a punch to the head. And yo, the flavor profile from that spot is A1.
Man, I gotta try that. All right, United States. Yes. Skip. I don't have internet. Here we go. Continue with limited setup. User. No password. Off, off, off. Not now.
Yeah, Mike Wags knows the vibes, man. Mofongo is the hit.
Yeah.
All right, so now, once once everything is done being set up on the Windows side, first thing is going to be the motherboard and the chipset drivers. Those are going to be the first. Those are going to be the first two. No, they're not.
I'm just going to go into the device manager and point it to that folder I created and then just get
Yeah.
everything loaded up that way. That should only take a few seconds.
But the thing is the inside of, I'm going to tell you exactly where. Inside of the RetroRGB setup, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the first thing you want to extract onto the desktop.
Okay.
And you're going to do there's a registration file that says disable drivers installation in Windows Update. That's the first thing you're going to do. That's the first thing you have to run.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Then we go through with the drivers that we already have downloaded. And then we go through with the rest of the installation.
All right. This computer is already noticeably faster. I'm wondering if we just run Gamepadla just on a bare Windows 10 installation first, just to see.
That wouldn't be a bad idea, not for nothing.
All right, 3. Move that there, move that there. Wait, no, shit. Driver. All right, so this should automatically install everything. And as soon as the graphics driver kicks in, I can put the setting back to the way so you could all see the screen share. That's why we're still on my camera view at the moment.
Yep. So
Based
Mike
on
Wags,
travels, how do drink prices change? Example, their go-to Jameson and ginger ale with lime, which is $5 or $6 here in rural southern Indiana. That's real cheap there, but it also depends on where you go, and it also depends on specials and deals and all that stuff. But you could expect double that around New York City. All right, MX150 is installed.
your drivers are good?
Just the graphics. Let me. Yeah, let me get a couple more of these installed. And let me give it a second, too, because once you install one from that location, the other ones might just auto-detect. It might take a reboot as well, but let's... Let me check and see if it's coming through yet. Nope, not yet. All right.
So Mike Wags, Bob is currently testing Gamepadla, and he just finished doing a test on stock Windows 11, Windows 11 with FGC OS tweaks, and now he's going to be running the RetroRGB, which is the base operating system that I have on my FGC OS setup. It's going to be the OS is available through my Twitter on Beast1X5. So yeah, just grab the install if you want to play around with it. The main focus is to reduce latency on the input and the audio side.
Yeah, so if this wasn't a laptop that's just a beater that I could fix in my spare time if I wanted to, I would have let driver down run as long as it took, and every one of these drivers would be automatically installed right now. So let's just reboot for now and see where we're at. But we should be in pretty good shape, believe it or not. So we'll start rebooting, and then when I come back up, it should be able to just detect the graphics card and output to my capture card on my PC as well.
Now to wait for these key switches. All right. Yeah, just make sure you keep Windows disabled for now.
Am I, try this again over here. Nope. Well, that's fucking weird. Let me replug. NVIDIA control panel. No, it's not what I wanted. Or was it?
I'm a little biased, but I would recommend using NV Clean install for that.
Odd that it's not detecting the capture card now. You know, there's one very easy way to test this. Hold on, I got a monitor right here. Not only have a monitor, I have an HDMI cable just sitting here waiting for these exact scenarios.
Candy cane.
Yeah, so it's going to need the better NVIDIA driver then. That's the issue. But we can just run, before we do anything else, let's just run Gamepadla, and then we'll go back and do all that, just so we get a very bare reading and see what happens.
Yeah, I would feel real comfortable after the initial Gamepadla test that we go through the remainder of the Revi Playbook install, and then we could do all of the additionals, because then we can just turn internet on and everything. Ooh, but bad Matt, it really depends on the part of Brooklyn you're in regards to drink prices, because some of these places are more outlandish than others, honestly. But thankfully, I do all of my drinking at Japan Village. Place is so good.
USB serial. I guess we are going to have to start getting some of these drivers worked out. All right. COM3. That was the lag tester. So let's try that again. Oop. Because this is the retro flag USB controller that was. Let me bring up the latency sheet and see what it was at, because I think it was very quick.
Am I the dev? I'm not. I was actually brought on board for hard testing. The originals behind this project were Arturo, NYC Furby, and the coder that they had on board was formerly Stream Overlay Pro. He goes by Eric Rodder Codes. And long story short, we were tired of playing on console for online games, especially when, you know, majority of tournaments were running on PS4. Bubba, okay, my bad, dude. I'm sorry. But yeah, the majority of the fighting game tournaments are run on console, and I'm not too crazy about it, but it is what it is. I will always prefer to play on PC because of the performance gains, and it's easier to manage a singular library of games as opposed to digging out discs. Even though physical media is what it is, but yeah, the input latency and the audio latency gains are so good, especially if you play fighting games or if you play first person shooters and you rely on various audio cues for certain moves. FGC OS will provide so many benefits, especially if you play on Fightcade. Especially on Fightcade.
So it made no difference in latency, and it's
Okay.
on Mister, which obviously that's not an OS, right? Windows is doing a lot of things, but it averages 1 millisecond, not 7. So I'm just gonna real quick uninstall OneDrive because there's no reason to have it on here, and then whatever's next, you let me know.
Yeah. So the next steps is really going to be for the RetroRGB Playbook installer, which is okay. So Street Fighter 6. If you're playing on stock Windows, the main two things you want to make an adjustment to is disabling anti-aliasing and disabling screen space reflection, and then turning on input reduction, which on console it does great, but on PC it's even better. And then if you're playing on a fight stick that has a brookboard, setting that controller to PS3 mode also helps. Overclocking it helps even further because you could do things frame one. Okay, so
All right. So
Bob, what
what's
you
the
want
next
to
step?
okay, so what you want to do is you want to go to the Revi OS setup.
Let me just double check real quick.
Yeah, sure.
Adapters. All right. We're gonna need that driver at some point too. But all right, Revi OX.
Oh, and then S is in ship. Yeah,
Yep.
so that's gonna be
Sorry, yeah, I said X, but I meant that. My bad.
you're good. And extract that
I
and
think let me put this on my PC and extract all that, and then bring it back over to here. So
sure.
it'll just be quicker because I have 7-zip installed on there already.
Got you. Yeah, so it's a three-piece. You're gonna go disable drivers and then pop open the AME wizard and then drag the Revi playbook in. And the main part is essentially finished minus flipping a couple of switches. So the input optimizations applied for FGCOS. The input optimizations apply for controllers, mouse and keyboard, and your audio. Ah, dude, Bubba, you got to do it. I got to see if I have any connects at any of the comedy clubs. I gotta take a gamble. I gotta double check.
All right, I think I have everything. I think I have everything extracted, so we could just run it now. And all right. And after we're running these, I'll also download the driver so you all could see an actual Windows view and not just my camera view from the side. All right, so all right, Revi OS and disable driver installation first, right?
Yes.
Merged, okay. And then do I run the AME wizard?
Yeah, go into AME Wizard Beta. You fire that up, and then it's gonna ask you to drop the Revi PB 23.04.
Okay, select playbook. It's really hard to get it working on this. Let me see if I could.
I'm looking.
Maybe that'll. We'll get the screen back up and running in a moment. I promise you all that.
Yeah, so where it says unverified playbook, I understand.
Okay, and just hit next.
And
Or
then
run action or next.
let me see.
Allow AME Wizard file system action. Yeah. So we want to disable security.
Yep. Yeah, it's going to tell you to disable the Windows virus protection, real-time protection, cloud-based, all that. You got to disable. And this is just specific for Revy. And then when it says it's disabled, it should have given you the.
Yep, it's all perfect. As soon as I disabled them, it automatically said you can go. Now it says internet must be connected before continuing.
1 second. Now you can now you can enable your internet.
I'll just plug an Ethernet cable in because I'm a
That's
nerd, and of
easiest.
course I had one sitting right here for these exact moments.
Like a boss.
Check again.
Okay. Accept. And we are underway.
And you said there was a specific driver that I should be installing for NVIDIA, right?
So with when you're installing the NVIDIA, what do you call it? When you're installing the NVIDIA drivers, what I would usually recommend is using NV Clean Install. And I would have to hold on the Calypto guide that I had sent you earlier.
Yeah.
It actually shows like how to properly install NVIDIA's NV Clean Install, because how I update my drivers is I have NV Clean installed to my machine, and I'll go into safe mode and I'll do a full GPU driver uninstall, and then when it's back in the Windows OS, use NV Clean Install, and then the previous settings that I had before, I'll just use previous settings and then go.
All right. So I just downloaded NV Clean. I'll copy it over. I'm not going to install it while this is installing, though.
Right. So, Mike, yes, you can apply the USB overclock tweaks to your mouse and keyboard. I personally am using a Corsair RGB Pro mouse and keyboard. They overclock upwards of 8,000 hertz. And for fight sticks, the board that I'm currently using, I have a Universal Fighting Board Fusion. Those, when you set it to PS3 mode, because PS3 pads can be overclocked comfortably, I have those set to 1,000 hertz whenever I'm playing Tekken or Street Fighter 6, Under Night, Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and on Fightcade, there's a big difference too. Even when Stream Overlay Pro, because he uses a Snackbox Micro, and I told him, hey, set it to PS4 mode and then remap your buttons and then use the overclocker. It should work. And then sure enough, he was getting Touch of Death combos with Kim and with Terry with no issues. Bobby, how we looking?
It's moving along very nicely. I just removing system packages now, and it looks like it disabled all of the extra stuff in Windows in the background and things like that. So this is working. This is very cool.
That's exactly what we want. That is literally exactly what we want. Bubba, in regards to comedy clubs, if I remember correctly, because I haven't gone out to any in a long time, but I do know the minute Joey Diaz performs in New York, I'm in there like swimwear. The last one that I had went to was it used to be called Laser Park, but then I think it's called the Laugh Lounge. So that's one. That's the only one that I genuinely know of.
I love that guy so much. That Sister Hyacinth story. I still laugh
Oh my
almost as hard as I
goodness.
laughed the first time. She was there in 7 minutes with a chicken and a Santeria priest. I was fucking dying. I love the whole thing. The whole thing, start to finish.
Hit me with a 2-piece. Yep, the screen is going black. Yep, that's what we like. It's disabling all the background stuff that's hidden in Windows.
Funny, I used to do this stuff manually when I was creating embedded OS installations. I mean, geez, I guess it's like 15 years ago now, but I got flown out to the UK to work on that, and then when I got back and I started doing it for the company, I actually found a bug and had to report it to Microsoft because it had dependencies that didn't matter. So, like, if you wanted green, you had to also enable yellow or something that just didn't have anything to do with it. That's probably a stupid analogy, but when you were setting it up, you had to install way more than that was actually necessary in order to do that, and slowing the computer down more than it needed to. So it took them forever to release the fix for that. But yeah, that was quite a big part of my life, trying to make trying to stream video on devices that were not at the time really built to stream video to. It worked though.
True.
Well, this is faster than I thought it was going to go, that's for sure. Not the speediest computer.
A win is a win. I should start dismantling my fight stick so I can get ready for those switches, right?
Yeah, you want to talk a little bit about what that is that you were mentioning before the stream started? Because that seemed interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. So first and foremost, I'm never against the arcade standard. When people get into buying fight sticks, the Japanese standard, because I don't like throwing out the arcade standard around, because the American standard can be hop or IL competition with hop buttons, before the Marvel vs. Capcom guys. The Japan standard is either Sanwa or Seimitsu. And then for Korea, I'm not necessarily versed with Korean fight sticks or Korean levers or buttons, but I've heard good things about the Crown, the Samduksas, and whatnot. So my knowledge sticks within the USA and the Japanese market for arcade buttons. Recently, I want to say a year or two ago, I was introduced to the Gamer Finger buttons. They've been around for a while. Those are the buttons that they look like gigantic hexagons or like octagon shaped.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you guys can see it on my screen, but that's them right there.
Okay.
And essentially, the buttons, instead of having the plastic actuator inside of it, they actually use mechanical switches found in keyboards. So your Cherry MX switches, and if you like them clicky, if you like them tactile or linear, those options are there for you. My primary focus with fighting games is I like linear because, the button press activation at the top of the press, that's the difference between a trade or what you call it. So you can get a good counter hit on your opponent. So yeah, I've been using the Gamer Fingers and I absolutely love them. Recently, Seimitsu came out with their own version called the Alutimos, I believe they're called, and instead of the hexagon shape, they stuck with their regular circle shape, and once again, they use computer switches, which is awesome. So if y'all are interested in scooping those up, I would highly recommend grabbing them from wherever you get your arcade stick parts from. Prices range for about, I would like to say 600. No, I was about to say 600 yen. Wow. I want to say they range about $6 to $7 per button. And yeah, mechanical switches are a hit. I love them.
Hey, we are back up. And I just ran NV clean install, and I'm at the point where it says select driver version to install. Do I install best for my hardware? Do I install NV clean on this machine? Which do you suggest?
Okay, so you want to go for the top one
Okay.
and go next. Let me dig up my phone very quickly. Is NV clean install going to be installed on the machine, or are you just using the
Whichever you
regular?
suggest.
Yeah, so NV clean install, I would recommend leaving it on the machine. And just a moment. Okay. So where it says, yeah, so for that you want to go recommended
Okay.
and then go next. Now, the next section that comes up, there should be a show additional installation, and it's essentially it's going to be installation tweaks. Just let me know when that pops up.
Sure. We are close, I think.
Yeah. Don't mind me. I am preparing this fight stick.
All right. So we're at installation tweaks.
Okay. So there should be an option. Let me see if I can zoom in on my end or if I can full screen there. There should be an option called all right. So from the top you want to do disable installer telemetry and advertising.
Okay.
Perform a clean install, and now you're going to go to show expert tweaks.
Okay.
Now there should be another one that says disable driver telemetry,
Okay.
disable HDCP.
Hell yeah.
If you want to apply the NVEC video encoding,
Yeah. Fuck it.
and then scroll down,
Mm-hmm.
and there should be, it says rebuild digital signature, and then use method compatible with easy anti-cheat.
Okay.
That's
Installing
it.
right now.
And then it's, yep, there you go.
Does this
Also,
actually
Bob-
disable HDCP? So I could just like plug this into a monitor that is not HDCP compliant?
Correct.
Huh. All right.
Oh,
Your
and Bob,
customized installer is now ready. So I just hit install, right?
yep. Oh, and also, Bob, just an FYI, big recommendation for you in the channel. Fantic makes amazing USB-C charged power drills.
Oh, yeah?
Get you one. Get you one immediately.
That's funny. I still have an AC powered drill.
Oh, dude, like these are A1. These are absolutely A1. Oh. Yeah, what you call it? We recently got I had recommended Steve to get a bunch for the store, and he was like, "Yo," because he saw me using mine at when I was doing fight stick maintenance for a friend of mine, and he was like, "Whoa, that actually looks really dope." And I'm like, "Dude, get it." And I think he got one out of sponsorship. So, yo, Fantic, if you in the chat, send Bobby the regular and send Bobby the big boy and the precision screwdriver set immediately. Or I'm gonna come to your house and whisper sweet nothings in your ear.
All right, so we are halfway through installing the graphics driver, and then I should at least be able to get the view back for everybody to see like we were before. And we could run another lag test after this has been, since we already ran the installation for that. So what's the status of fighting games on Linux? Is that even, are there enough on there for it to make a difference, or is it really just sporadic support like I would normally guess from that?
I'll be very honest with you. I personally haven't tried anything on Linux.
Mm.
Then again, like I don't necessarily have an interest in running in it. I've been doing Windows forever,
Yeah.
but I know that there are some players that I think my guy, who was also involved, Omega Tom Hanks, he was using Linux to boot into Steam OS, I think it was.
Hmm.
And it also had the FGC OS tweaks on it as well. So, I'm personally not sure, but I think he probably did some work with that in testing. So
Because I'm definitely going to follow up with Rollman. You remember him, right?
I do.
Artemios friend, tall guy from Mexico.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
I'm
yes,
going
yes,
to
yes, yes.
follow up with him in a custom Linux build because he designed it
Nice.
really for MD Fourier because all Windows 10 and 11, I guess 8 sucks, but all of the Windows since 7 change audio very slightly. And
Yes,
you
they
could do a
did.
crazy compatible tweak to it all in order for it to go back to normal. But the chances of a reboot putting it back the way it was is actually pretty big. So it's not reliable to use those for. When I say audio analysis, I don't mean like, hey, let me just, let me record professional vocals. I mean like deep dive analysis. Like recording studios could still use Windows if they wanted to. It's just the
Yes.
crazy crap that I do and that MD Fourier does. So he built a Linux build so that we don't have to resort to using Windows 7 in order to do this.
Nice.
So I was talking to him, hey, can you think about putting some kind of latency optimizations in there too? Because maybe part of this would be like a bootable gaming USB stick. So if you have
Absolutely.
USB 3.2, you boot Linux from it, and then
Yep.
hopefully that would allow you to get some of these optimizations. And he said it's all possible, and we're gonna try to figure that out at some point.
Hopefully some of the tweaks from FGCOS can be also implemented into that because that would be pretty awesome.
So we're actually still not getting HDMI out working. That's so weird. Let me try plugging the monitor back in just to see here. Yeah, no, it doesn't. It's not detecting anything.
Pop open the control panel for NVIDIA.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
because you probably map to manually turn it on. Because that's usually what happens to me. That's what happened to me when I first did it. Like you probably just have to manually just cut it on set up multiple displays.
No, it's not in here. That's very funny. I bet you some of the other drivers that were not installed were for that.
Probably. Yeah, once again, like in my case, I don't have the experience with the what is it with the laptops?
Yeah.
Because
So
the
you know what I'm
primary,
gonna do then? Let me run this latency test, and then I'm
yeah,
just gonna go back and get that driver update from the Dell website just so we can get this working. But before
yeah,
I do that, I just want to see if where we're at with this, just because I'm very curious. So
right.
plug in, Padla. And one of the things too, I probably should have said this at the very beginning of the stream, is since we're only testing controller latency, it's not a true metric of how much faster installing FGCOS is. It's one component of it. So even if we
Right.
only get controller latency down by 3 milliseconds, if we could lower display latency by 6 milliseconds, and then, all that stuff adds up. So at the end of the day, you might save yourself a frame or two.
Yeah. Yeah. Bubba, my personal places to go to, because I've lived here forever. I'm very big on Japanese food, so I really like visiting Japan Village for their food court and for their supermarket. And in their backyard, they usually have really awesome events on Friday and Saturday. And they do have a second floor that has a book off and a bunch of other attractions. And then on the outside, on the outside, they also have a few drinkeries and all that other fun stuff. I would also recommend going to Brooklyn Games and Arcade. We have a godlike venue between retro fighting games and retro fighting games, modern and modern fighting games. Awesome environment. It's literally like a family gathering every time we're in there.
Yeah, love that place.
I forgot which pier it is, but it's the one. South Street Seaport is dope. They have a pretty cool mall and a good food eatery there. I personally like going to the Lower East Side on off of Essex Street, primarily Essex and Rivington. You got Economy Candy, and then right across the street, one of my other favorite Spanish restaurants in El Castillo that recently got featured on like a few food spots on TikTok. And across from there, on the other side of Rivington, there's a bakery called Sweet Sunshine. A1, so good. I've been going there ever since I was like 17, and I'm 36. The cupcakes still hit the exact same. Uh, the other place is there's a steak restaurant that just opened that it's allegedly all you can eat. And I'm like, no, it's not. Not when I walk in. Not when I walk in. You could also do Video Games New York. Dan is awesome. J&L is also a good spot. The Nintendo store is cool. I think I've only ever been to the Nintendo store like I can count on one hand, maybe 4 or 5 times at most. And there's a really nice Chinese eatery on Canal and Mott Street, I think it's at, but it's right on Canal Street. It's really good. So, yeah. And then if you want to do it for the sake of luxury, Cat's Delicatessen is good. It's expensive, but
Yeah.
quality is really good though. That's the one thing I will never fault them on. The quality of the meats and the breads that they use are very good.
Man, I haven't had a good Knish since I left the city. It's been that long. Shit.
Eesh.
My wife went to get Irish soda bread the other day, and she came back all disappointed because it wasn't authentic. And I was like, "You got Irish soda bread from a Jewish bakery? That's like getting a Knish from a fucking ginger wearing a shamrock hat. What are you kidding? No, of course it's not authentic."
Flipping A. But yeah, man. Yeah, those are my genuine go-tos. Those are my genuine go-tos, especially Japan Village. Japan Village, you can go for something light, you can go for something heavy. There's something for everyone there. The food selections when you walk in and then you look to the left. Good ramen, good udon, good donburi. What else? Good karage. But then when you go to the backyard and go to the left, there's a really good restaurant called Waku Waku. Real, that's my jam. Everybody there knows me. I asked if there's any way for my birthday we could reserve I call it the Yakuza suite because it's a legit meeting room. I'm like, I want that suite. And just try to get as many people in there as humanly possible.
I think what I was missing, I think I just figured out what I was missing. The Intel graphics driver, which tells it to switch to the NVIDIA driver, because the
Right.
laptops have those dual driver modes. So I think that's what I was missing.
Oh, okay.
Let me bookmark this page here. Just yeah. But I think that was it, and then we could get back to it.
Halfway there, baby. All right. All right. Oh yeah. This thing hasn't fully installed yet, has it? The Revi OS.
It has, and I already rebooted and everything.
Okay.
The only thing we're waiting on now is the getting the output to work, so we could actually have anybody who's sitting through this OS install stream actually see what's on screen.
Got you. Yeah, because we got to do the. If you click on Start, there should be a tab that says Revi OS.
Revision tool?
Oh, revision tool. Yeah, that we're gonna go to that next,
Cool.
and that's gonna be basically to turn off and on a couple of things, and then. Well, we gotta wait for this bad boy to finish installing. So.
Yeah, I want people to, anybody who's actually suffering through this, and thank you all for anybody who's hanging out, but I want you to see what's going on, not just have this crappy side angle thing going on. So that's what we're just working on. But I mean, anybody that's installed anything on a PC before knows that you're going to expect this on everything. It happens. All right, good sign, good sign. Hey.
We're in like sin.
No, I'm going to restart later because I just want to get whatever those lingering things are here. Let's try serial I/O driver.
Yep.
Accept. Restart later. Install. And I should be able to switch this view over.
Hey.
Uh-oh, something's wrong with Beast.
Ah.
That is very weird. Let me close this and then reopen it and see. Oh, and Beast is back. All right. And now we can restart and okay. Let's see what we got when we come back up. So when I did the other lag test, it was the same. But we had only just started the Revi OS things, so.
Yeah. It may make a difference because you know Windows 11 is notorious for adding input lag, which is so weird.
Hmm.
Or rather, there's so much bloat on Windows 11 that, ugh,
Yeah.
that's all I got. Like, ugh.
Yeah. That's I agree. That's an accurate assessment of it all. All right. So you should still be, yes, okay, you're still able to see this. Let's check the device manager and see what we got. Damn, there's still a lot of stuff in here. So we installed,
You can install those later.
yeah. So let's go to revision tool.
So yeah, revision tool.
Okay.
Now at revision tool, you're gonna go to hit security first. Okay, defender. Meltdown and mitigate. Spectrum meltdown should be off. Okay, so we can go to usability. Let's see. This is fine. Performance.
I want to turn all this shit off because I don't like it anyway.
Yeah, go for it.
Off. All right. Performance.
Okay, so we want super fetch off. Full screen optimizations on. And then I believe it's in miscellaneous. We want multi-plane overlay on.
What about background apps? Do we leave that on?
We technically want to leave it off,
All right.
but it's totally up to you. That part is subjective. But we definitely want, yeah, Windows updates. You can turn that off. Hide
Pause Windows
page.
updates on. Driver install. Okay.
And then miscellaneous. There should, yeah, multi-plane overlay should be on. Okay, now we go to the next step. Like everything else is totally fine. If you want to go to settings and go update, you could do that too. Totally up to you. This is an older version of Revy, but it
No
can
update was
totally be
found.
updated later. All right, so you're good. Now you can go through the GPU tweaks again, but if you want to just go right to the USB overclocking, you can do that too.
Let me reboot then, because what I just did was had a bunch of changes. So let's go from there.
Sure.
Restart anyway.
And yeah, it's always recommended. Windows 10 has been the ace with, gaming.
It's my favorite of all the OSs. 7 was great, but there's just a couple of things about 10 that just kind of make it flow easier when using it. 7 was really great, but 10's my favorite. If it wasn't for the audio thing, I think I would stay on it for as long as possible. I also find too, because I'm like, my whole family's tech support, so I will load up a new OS. I used to load it up in beta, obviously, back when I was working closely with Microsoft, but now I'll load it up when it's like mainstream, like a couple months after release, and I'll just suffer through it with all the defaults, because I used to work with a guy that he was in his late 60s when I worked with him, and he was still, every time he installed an OS, he would switch all of the views back to like Windows 3.1 style because he was just set in his ways.
Ooh.
And it was really worked better for him, except every time a user would call, he'd be like, I don't know what you're talking about, because he was literally looking at a different thing than they were. So it kind of taught me, like, I got to suffer through what everybody else is seeing so I could understand how to troubleshoot the stuff that I'm seeing. So that was so that's why I do that now, even though I really don't like a lot about Windows 11. I just suffer through it because when one of my family members calls and like, I'm having this problem, I can just know immediately because I'm probably seeing it too. So what changes are next on the list after we reboot? USB polling, you said we could try again?
So it was gonna be the audio and then the USB and then the what is it? LatencyMon, MSI, the scripts and refine.
Okay. Let's skip audio just because I don't really have a way to test that for this stream, and but
Sure.
let's hit up everything else.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't think I made many changes. I wonder if this is frozen. I'll give it another minute and then I'm power cycling. Yay, Windows. Thor World, yeah, stay with Windows 10 as long as you can. Joseph, yeah, I also liked the UIs of 2000 and XP, but I don't know. The Windows 10's UI is annoying because the start menu is useless. You have to click it and start it in search. You can't actually sort through anything like you could the previous ones, like 7 and XP and all those. But things like if you have two windows open, whichever one you hover your mouse around and scroll, you're able to, it automatically scrolls in that one. You don't have to click between, like a bunch of little things that, you know, I think flow really well. Hey, what's up, Brandon? We've been going for over 2 hours now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're pushing 3 hours. Crap, but
Be cooling and shooting the shit.
yep. Yeah, I'm gonna power cycle. There's no way that's actually doing anything.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. That's funny as hell.
Hmm. It's being racist.
Okay, we're back at the BIOS boot screen finally.
Hey.
Hey, RJ. Oh, thanks very much. Really appreciate that. Yeah, the live streams are very often this slow because we do a lot of real-time deep dive stuff like this, which often requires a lot of waiting. So hopefully you'll catch a fun one someday. I mean,
Oh
I think this
Lord.
stuff's fun, but I could completely understand why somebody might not find this very entertaining.
Brandon, just a heads up. It does support 4K. It's really just a debloated Windows install. So HDR, 4K. As long as your monitor supports it, you're in there like swimwear. Oh Lord. Okay. Pizza. I'm very big on the protein. So meatball, sausage,
Yeah.
pepperoni, bacon, like just general protein. I'm not too crazy about shrimp and all that because some people have their taste. And in the event that someone were to ever bring pizza with pineapple on it, I would send them to their room respectfully. And I would just have to cut the section of where the pineapple was sitting on, and enjoy the rest of it and pray no pineapple juices got on it. So
That's pretty funny.
yeah, in Japan they actually had, I don't know what, Domino's Japan be hitting sometimes. Same thing with Pizza La. Pizza La in Japan is, they had, okay, Bob, you're gonna enjoy this one.
All right.
Pizza La right? Their pizza is similar to the OG Pizza Hut
Okay.
pizza, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And what they do is they do this really bugged out threaded end crust, and they sometimes make it look like pretzel crust, but then
Oh.
in the holes, hold on, this is some real fat boy shit. In the divots where every individual crust threads, there's a different dipping sauce.
But that sounds like some crap that one of the fast food places around here would do, like that cardboard tasting pizza. That like why can't real pizza places make a stuffed crust pizza? Why do I have to go to Pizza Hut and eat cardboard with cheese in it?
No, but the best part is it actually doesn't taste like cardboard. So
Yeah, the one you're talking about, I imagine tastes freaking amazing.
there's a lot of protein in plants. No, carnivore protein. Carnivore protein. But yeah,
So-
definitely. Pizza La Pizza is A1. Okay.
So I'm gonna run it for another 40 seconds to match the first one. So we're gonna do, this is Windows 11 versus Windows 10, and I'm already seeing some insane differences in overall latency. Not, we'll go back to controller latency before the stream's over, but yeah, this is, it's already looking very impressive.
Yeah.
I just wanted to do apples to apples since I ran them both for, ran the first one for 245.
Yeah. And that's before doing any of the audio tweaks either. Like LatencyMon, I believe, was meant for measured audio latency, if I remember correctly. Then, of course, you got to make your BIOS tweaks, turn off certain things, turn on certain things, etc. Yeah, because LatencyMon is meant for audio.
Right.
Yeah, LatencyMon is definitely for audio.
So let me just pull these up and put it for anybody watching, and then we'll just go back to installing stuff and see if we can get the controller latency any slower, faster, lower reading. Yeah, you all know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Image. So this was Windows 11. So you could see 340, 10, et cetera, et cetera. And here's the one I just ran on Windows 10 with it optimized.
Look at that. How crazy is that?
Yeah. Wow.
How crazy is that?
That's kind of nuts.
Yeah.
Damn.
A little under half, but still good.
Yeah, that is pretty crazy. Okay, so let's get back to installing some shit then, and let's see if we could lower this overall even more.
Yeah.
What's next then?
All right. So peace and equalize. Well, we're gonna go. Are we going straight for the controller or?
Controller. We didn't do the melody tweaks on this one. Do we need to?
I would feel better putting it on.
All right, so let's do it.
The melody tweaks. Well, you know what? We don't even have to do that just yet. Let's just go right in for the HID USBF.
What do these do? What do the melody tweaks do?
Those are the ones that are used for latency reduction as well. That's for controller. Controller and Windows debloating.
Yeah, let's do it all.
Yeah, go for it. So you're gonna run that, and then the second one, and then refine right after, and then
The second
Refine
one
will
ran
be-
so much faster than we ran it on Windows 11. That is funny as hell.
Yeah.
All right, what was the
And
next
then
thing you had asked? I'm sorry I cut you off.
Refine towards the bottom.
Oh, that's right. And I believe we needed to run that from the C drive because of the way
No,
power
you
is
should.
going.
I was about to say you should be able to do it from there because, but either way, shout outs to Prolix OC. That man is an absolute masterclass with overclocking. And just, just for clarity's sake, this is from my personal package. I'm just trying to make sure everyone plays super clean on their setups and really get the full bang for their buck on their respective PC setups. Listen, you pay more than enough. The last thing you need is, any kind of input bullshit. So use these tweaks and elbow drop everybody. Vroom vroom from the back.
I keep forgetting, but I want to cut just Carsey yelling that and just have that as like just that one clip and just use it to respond to people that piss me off.
I still remember when I said that shit out loud in front of him. He was like, "I'm stealing that," and I'm like, "Do it, bitch." You won't. And then, sure enough, he clears Parasite Eve, no damage. Yes, suck my dick from the back. I was like, "Shit."
Yeah, that was fucking hilarious.
And that game is very difficult to no damage. So,
all right, so those are installed and rebooted. Looks like we're still up too. So what do you wait? I think your screen went. Did your screen go black? We lost Beast. Damn it.
I'm here.
There you
I'm
go.
chilling.
There you go. You're back here. You're back here. Sorry.
So, all right. So up next, you've already done the refine. So now we're gonna install the certificate for HID USBF. So that's the one at the top. Sweet and low, install certificate.
Do we automatically select the certificate?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Import was successful. And then driver and setup, right?
Yep. And then you did the test with the controller the first time, right?
I did, yeah.
All right, so yeah, now we're gonna test it a second time with if we can overclock it safely.
All right, so filter on device.
Yep.
Device will stop functioning after restart with high probability. Yeah, fuck it. We could always put it back. Yeah, it's not letting me do it now.
Okay. So just what you call it, just uninstall until the title for the controller comes back, because it's probably not meant to be overclocked.
Yeah, let me unplug and replug and rerun that just to see.
And then if anything, just use installed with USB IF.
I don't know, it seemed to stick. We set it to 500.
Okay. That's probably the highest it can go then. And then after that, try doing it on default. Well, but yes, I am. I'm very big on Japanese MMA and Japanese pro wrestling, especially Big Japan Pro and New Japan. New Japan is dope. Pro Wrestling Noah. Them dudes hit hard. Those dudes hit really hard. I actually met Ishimori Taiji, Minoru Suzuki, and what's this giant motherfucker from the formerly Suzuki Goon? The one that Lance Archer. I met I met all those dudes by accident. I was like, whoa, let's go.
Yeah?
Yeah, and then when I met Lance Archer the second time when he came to New York. Oh yeah, we got a little bit of a performance gain.
We dropped below 5 finally. All right, so let's try running that again and see if we can go up to 1,000. Probably not, but
something.
you know.
You know, if it does, it does. Don't forget filter on. You know what? That actually might work too. Yeah, install services and then restart. Give it a sec. I think it's no. Okay. So do this instead.
Let me just power cycle real quick because that's where we figured out the issue last time.
Oh Lord, a tribute weekend in Evansville that'll include the roast of Jerry Lawler. Good luck. That man is unhinged. I still remember what's this thing called when he did that promo against. Oh my goodness, that man dropped so many F-bombs. I was like, oh my God, JR. I think it was in like the 70s or the 80s. I was like, holy crap! Wait a minute.
So what we just did was change it without hitting filter, and that worked for 500. What was the what does filter on device do?
Filter will hard lock it to 1000. Like it'll implement it and it'll basically tell the CPU, hey, buff it, let's go. But you should be able to try setting
it
to
again to
1,000
1,000 without the filter.
Yeah, do it without the filter. It might work.
Oh. Hit the wrong button. And so after this, what were the other things that we could do?
Well, after this, it's
MSI utility,
LatencyMon, MSI, and then the sound. But the sound is just the sound tweak is very minimal. But for stereo speakers, it does make a difference. Well, that's only for when you're playing. But everything else after that is just a matter of running LatencyMon and MSI. And then you could use LatencyMon again, and then you'll be able to see even further adjustments. You'll be able to see like the tweaks in effect. This is looking solid so far.
Yeah, it dropped a little more.
Hey, very good.
All right, so let's let me run MSI, and then we could run it one last time after this. So this was the
yeah, MSI, check everything and then apply.
Okay.
Apply and refresh. Good, close. And then LatencyMon. Just hit.
We already installed that. That's in here. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. And then hit start.
Yeah, we just ran that test. It's even lower.
Look at that.
Oh, that's pretty cool. And what is piece setup?
Oh, Peace and Equalizer, they run hand in hand with each other, and that's another tool for reducing audio latency on your sound devices and even your capture cards.
Interesting. Okay. Well, because I can't test audio latency, I'm gonna skip that, and I'm just gonna see. Yeah, SM bus controller. That's the only thing I'm confused about to make sure, because if there's driver issues with a bus controller, that could also affect latency. So let's see if we can install this, and I think this is the last one I haven't. The power management service is the last one I haven't tried, and I could go back from another backup in this one because I also have yeah, I have bare Windows 10 factory image. Yeah, I have a ton of stuff here I could totally do with Clonezilla, so that's not a problem. But that didn't do shit. All right, well. So I guess one more reboot, and we'll do the controller test, and we'll see. But we shaved a couple milliseconds off from the start, but that's only controller. We already saw in LatencyMonitor how much we saved in all of the other aspects as well.
Yep. And that's the main thing, right? Like, especially for people that rely on audio cues for games.
Yeah.
Forget it. Yeah. This FGC package is FGC OS package is just A1. You could take it a step further and use the game utility, but what ends up happening is your entire screen is going to go black. There's no issues though. And you would essentially have to have whatever games you're playing on the screen already, or whatever applications you have running already.
Also, a couple people were asking about laptop specs. I'll double check that as soon as it comes back up as well.
Green, I actually don't. I'm just a nicotine vapor head. I'm actually a drinker more than anything else.
All right, so let's go back in and just run on a fresh reboot with nothing else running. No gamepads found. Oh, wait, I think the, yeah. Setup. USB, and it's going to be in here. No. Let's try it again. Oh, there it is. Okay, never mind.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
Oh, sorry, how's your asthma been?
No, that's not the asthma kicking. That's just vaping and failing to stay hydrated.
Yeah. I hear that. You can't hydrate out of booze, so.
Yeah. I just finished my beverage too, so probably go for another one in a bit. Are there any fights tonight? Let me double check.
All right, so we have 4.8 milliseconds. So let's see what that compared. Final win 10. And also the specs of the machine people were asking. So let's go. i7-8550 1.8 with 16 gigs of RAM. So by no means is this a gaming machine, but I still think we were able to demonstrate how much more power you could squeeze out of it by running these optimizations. I am still curious why we're getting 4.8 milliseconds of minimal latency with 7.32 of average when the average on Mister is 1. So I'm really curious to see if that's strictly a Linux thing or if it's a Mister thing. Because remember, Linux, you're still booting an entire operating system with stuff running in the background. So there's no way you're going to, I don't think it's possible that you're going to be able to get something as low latency as Mister, which is just a dedicated thing. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. So let me put up the lag test results. Let me double check this thing. What was this? Was that? All right. Let me throw these in, and then we'll call it. I'm really glad you were here to walk me through this, man. I really appreciate this because it would not have been nearly as easy.
Never a problem.
All right, where is latency? Final 10. All right, so that's the first test that we got right there. Yep. And here's the final one. And this is just controller, by the way. I already showed the LatencyMon from before. I'll do that again just for anybody who skips to the end. But so final Win 10. Not too much of a difference for just USB controller latency. And this is also the controller that's listed as 1 millisecond on average with Mister. However, just because I want to make sure we have accurate of what else we're doing here. Here's LatencyMonitor pre and post. And where's the other one? Come on. There we go. So these numbers are pretty massive. That is nice. That is definitely a big difference on each one of these things. So we still, as nerds, we still need to figure out a way to get slightly better with the controller ports for USB so we can get it down to Mister speeds. Mm-hmm. But we're still not talking about frames. We're talking about half a frame. And all that does add up 100%, but I think that we're in good shape, and I think this was a really fun exercise to go through to see where exactly we're at with all of this. I'm going to follow up with Rollman soon to see if we could do any kind of testing on Linux to confirm what we were talking about. But overall, I think this is, I think this is pretty cool.
Nice.
Anything else to add? Anything I missed, Beast?
Let's see. Let me double check the notepad on my end. Because essentially you could, if you wanted to, you can go through the additional, let's see. You can do the piece and equalizer APOs, because that's also going to reduce latency further. Like those are literally the last two you have to do.
But are those, but you said those are for audio and not for the controller ports.
Right.
Yeah, so that's not going to affect the test that we're running here. So
yep. Aside from that, you're good. You're 100% all set.
All right. Well, this was absolutely awesome. Thanks to everybody who hung out. Thanks to you, Beast. And I will follow up with a Linux version of this test sometime in the future. So thanks a lot, guys. I'll talk to you all soon.